In part one of our three-part series, we carried the stories of robbery victims who were all adamant they were rendered helpless when their assailants used the substance some believe to be chloroform. Now, as the investigation continues, we seek to find out what exactly is chloroform and if the theory is plausible. The Oxford Dictionary says chloroform is a volatile liquid used as a solvent and formerly as a general anesthetic. Chloroform is also used to make pesticides, plastic and a few other compounds. So this liquid is normally found in factories and research laboratories. For example, in high schools, it's used to kill frogs before they are dissected. The potential for misuse became evident recently during the trial of a renowned botanist and his driver who were accused and subsequently convicted of attempted murder. His driver testified that the doctor gave him money to purchase the substance to assist in the murder of the doctor's wife. So how can we identify chloroform?
Chloroform has a smell. Some people describe it as pleasant. I'm not really sure I would describe it that way, but I'd like you to have a sniff.
Are you sure this will not me out?
Yes, I'm sure
right.
This will be fine in small concentrations. Right. Yes, it's pretty strong.
Yes.
Yes.
What is that?
Well,
so
what you're
if I
smelling.
keep it too long at my nose, it will knock me out?
Yes. So when we use this, we tend not to inhale too much of it.
It, however, evaporates quite quickly, leaving no trace or scent, but the end results of being in contact with the substance can be nausea, vomiting, and possibly memory loss. This seems to support the claim by the victims of being disoriented. Is it, however, possible that this substance can be sprayed in a room resulting in unconsciousness and disorientation?
I don't know about spraying it into the atmosphere, but certainly if they put it on something like cotton or some sort of gauze and held it over the person's nose and mouth, then there is a good chance that they could become unconscious, because in very low concentrations chloroform doesn't appear to have any effect. But as you increase the concentration, then you can become sleepy, dizzy, and even have a headache. But in higher concentrations it will knock you out. It will act as an anesthetic, and in very high concentrations it can actually kill you because it depresses the central nervous system. So your heart could stop beating or you could stop breathing.
It was pointed out that if it's sprayed in the air, the perpetrator could also be affected, unless that person is wearing a mask.
In some senses it might be what I'd call a waste of chloroform, because if you just need a certain amount of chloroform on a wad of cotton to knock someone out, to fill an entire room with the vapor, you would need quite a lot of chloroform.
So this bottle wouldn't be sufficient to...
I don't think so.
Permission has to be sought from the Health Ministry before it can be imported, and the purpose for which it will be used has to be stated. Individuals may only be able to import certain types of chemicals and in limited quantities. For example, some persons may not be able to import chloroform or any types of poisons. That aside, though, there are concerns about chloroform once it's imported, because once it's here, there are, however, no checks and balances to ensure its proper usage.
Once it's here, I'm not sure if the sales are monitored. It would depend on the integrity of the company, to the best of my knowledge.
So is it or isn't it chloroform? In part 3, we get the views of a security expert and tell you how you can protect yourself.